It's your boy Deontay the Bronze from Milwaukee.
What's up, guys? This is Uriah Faber.
What's up, guys? Stephen One Boy Thompson.
Yo, this is KP Kenny Porter.
Cynthia Calvio.
Hi, this is Michaela Mayer.
Montana and Mark, the De La Rosas.
This Daniel Miracle Man Jacob. Shout out to Kendrick and Matt.
And you're listening to
the Slip and Dip podcast.
And you're listening
With your boy Kendrick and Matt.
Deep and Deep podcast.
And you're listening to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
Woo! What is up, everybody? Happy New Year 2018. Kendrick Johnson, Matthew Wells, Slip and Dip podcast, back and better than ever. Man, that intro got me so crunk. Just one of the new wrinkles that we throw into the show in 2018.
You like the new intro music, man? Throwing a little something together for 2018, something brand new. Trying to keep the show evolving as we continue to grow and have more episodes, more guests, and all that good stuff. More followers, more likes, all that good stuff, man. 2018 is here. 2017 was a hell of a year for combat sports, as all of you listeners out there already know. But it's time to look ahead to 2018, man. 2017, we recapped that on the last show, so now it's time to look ahead. And as we will have our guest Neil Magny on here in just a few minutes.
Friend of the show, you ball, you get the call.
Exactly. That
will be the theme of 2018. You ball,
exactly.
You get the call. If you don't pick up, we got a bad trend going. Just saying.
Again, fighters out there, that's Kendrick's mantra, not mine. But yeah, he's coming off that big win against Carlos Condit. Very big win for Neil Magny. He'll talk to us about that here in a little bit. But first, we're going to have our boy Danny Austin on out there, who's out there in Canada, friend of the show. Danny, man, what's going on out there in Canada? It looks like you're in a very, very cold place right now.
I'll be honest, it's not as bad as most of Canada right now, but it's still Canada in January. We're real men out here. We tough it out in the cold. We smash up Kendrick in fantasy basketball, and then we walk around in the cold. That's what's up.
Coming for somebody that's in last place, I'm in third place. Like I said before, a Mack truck's not scared of a pebble.
When was the last time you won a week?
Here we go.
But magically, I'm in third place.
Here we go.
Nobody believes you. Nobody believes you.
I can't talk much either. I'm in 8th, so I mean, it's a struggle.
It's a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I got 5 titles to my name.
Anyway,
I got trophies that I did not buy.
Hey, that's good. You know what? We should actually have a real trophy for this. I don't know if we do. Spencer, let's hit up Spencer, man. Let's get Spencer on next week and see if he can hook that up for us. But yeah, so Danny, man, obviously, the year in 2017, like I said, was a big year for combat sports, boxing and MMA. But like I said, we already recapped all that, man. Out of all the things that's already on the book so far for 2018, whether it be the heavyweight title fight between Stipe Miocic and Francis or some other fight, which one that's on the books right now are you the most interested in?
I mean, there's no question that it's Stipe Francis. It's been 5 years since we had two in their prime heavyweights kind of going at it like this. Ngannou is, in my opinion, the most interesting man in MMA. And, Stipe may not be as interesting on the microphone, but he's a brilliant fighter. So that fight's definitely there. I will also say, though, that what I'm excited about is just we've got 2 cards coming up with legitimately great fights up top. We didn't have that in early 2017. Already this year is shaping up to be better for the UFC, in my opinion, because that Rockhold Whitaker fight is just incredible.
Cost the pond. I'm just mad it's cost the pond, man. I like both of them. Shout out to both of them, Whitaker and Rockhold. We would love to get you on the show. Both good guys, both great fighters. It's going to be a 5-round war. I don't even know how I'm going to lean to.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 hell of a fights. Like, obviously, I'm a big fan of both of those fights. I think they're both fights, like you were saying, Danny, guys that are in their prime, competing against each other.
Yeah.
They're at the top of their divisions,
I have all the respect in the world for Robert Whitaker. I just genuinely believe Luke Rockhold, when he's not fighting stupid, which, even the David Branch fight, he got hit in a way he shouldn't have gotten hit against David Branch. But, I think when Rockhold's fighting at his best, he's the best middleweight in the world and has been for the better part of 5 years. So if he fights that fight smart and, avoids getting hit by a left, I think he should win that fight. But, God, I would not put money down on that fight.
Yeah, I have no idea. It depends on what Rockhold shows up. I think we all know that Whitaker's going to show up. I don't think we've had to question that ever in his career. But when you see a guy like Rockhold who had a very lackadaisical performance against Michael Bisping, then kind of screwed up the whole division for nearly for a while. It kind of raises some flags for you.
And Luke's defense, he shouldn't have took the fight. I had people in his camp from Javier Mendez. Shout out to Javier. I will give you a call. And some people in his camp that said he was fighting on a torn ACL, but I guess he was arrogant enough to get up in there with Michael Bisping, and we saw what happened. But he's used as an excuse. But you fighting on a torn ACL, you get knocked out. 9 times out of 10, that's what happened.
Yeah, it's a tough call, man. It really is. You don't want to be that guy that's like, especially against a Michael Bisping. I think he was just overconfident. You don't want Michael Bisping talking trash about you, I guess, either. So he thought he could probably shut him up and end it. But, fast forward, here we are. At least everything's reset now. We're going to have a proper title fight against three top contenders.
It took a while, but we got our middleweight division back, finally. So that's what I'm grateful for. That's for sure. Thank you, George St. Pierre. Good Canadian man coming in, with no questions asked. Just
came in like a mercenary, just like, hey, reset this division for us and go off and do your thing, whatever you're going to do.
Make a lot of money. That's what he's doing. He's cashing that paper.
Riding off into the sunset. One man, even though it was written into his contract that he had to defend it, you can make a guy fight, no matter what you put down on paper.
No, I love it. I fully defend it. I'm one of those guys who just thinks it was the best thing. I legitimately, he gave us a great night of MMA. He gave us a great fight. And now we got our middleweight division back.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it at all. No. But before all that, we do have a fight card coming up this Sunday. Between Jeremy Stephens and Doo Ho Choi's headlining that card out there in St. Louis. Is there anything that grabs your attention on that card, Danny?
I don't have it in front of me because I am standing outside.
For sure.
My impression, because I was looking at that card earlier, is that it's a really nice, deep card. There's a lot of interesting guys. I think for a lot of casual fans, the headliner doesn't exactly grab them, but we know what both Jeremy Stephens and Doo Ho Choi are capable of. So that actually could shape up to be a really, really cool, awesome fight. And then I think, you go down the line and it's just fight after fight with, intriguing storylines. Michael Johnson, I believe, is making his 145 debut. There's a lot. I think that's a nice little, we don't have to pretend that that's going to pull in casual fans, but it's a nice little card for fight fans.
Yeah, there is, like you said, there's names throughout that everybody should be familiar with. Mario Usman's on there.
That fight's
on there fighting Uriah Hall. Paige Van Zant's coming back.
420?
No, this is this weekend.
You put this card top to bottom up against the 220 card, and you just basically remove the main event and co-main event from both cards. This is way better than 220.
Absolutely.
Top to bottom, it's way, way, way better. It's just it's lacking that little something up top that the pay-per-view does have. So
that title fight, you take out the title fights. But I agree with you. If you were to tell me to switch, those fights onto this card, a hell of a card to start off the year.
Oh yeah.
Pay-per-view.
And you put them together, and we got a nice couple weeks coming up, right? This is actually not something I'm going to criticize the UFC for. They know what they have in Boston with 2 really great fights up top, so the card's not amazing, but you basically we have one really great card coming up if you combine the 2.
Yeah, for sure. But using that as kind of like momentum, thinking back on 2017 and looking forward to this coming year, what's something that comes to mind, if anything that readily comes to mind, that you want to see happen this year?
I just want to feel like order is restored a little bit, right? That was so much of 2017 was talking about Conor, and I hate that I'm basically doing that, but I just want them to figure out I just want the lightweight division figured out. I almost don't even care what happens. Just there are, in Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov, we've got 2 guys who I think all of us agree are pound for pound among the very best fighters in the world, and their careers are being held up by this Irish douchebag who's just refusing to fight and asking people to beg him. And frankly, I know people like Conor, but I like fighters. I like guys who fight, and Conor hasn't fought, so I'm just looking forward to that being getting out of the way. It sure looks more and more like John Jones isn't going to be gone forever, right? That's the impression that you guys are getting from Nowitzki's comments. So, I don't know if we're getting Jones Cormier 3 or whatever, but there's just a sense that 2017 for me, I thought it was I don't want to say it was an awful year because I don't think it was. I thought the back half of the year was pretty good, and there are a lot of interesting guys who have emerged. But it felt like there was no order. There was no rhyme or reason to how any of this was going. So for me, like, I just want this TV contract to get negotiated so we understand what the future of the sport looks like. I want, champions who are actually forced to fight and force the number one contenders. And I think that we're beginning to see positive signs that that's what's happening, despite all the noise.
Hey, Dan, before we get out of here, the John Jones thing, I'm trying to think, were you in Vegas when that all happened? I don't know. I was there, but I was so crazy, I don't remember if you were you out there?
No.
We talked to Jeff Nowitzki, and he was, like, very diligent, like, I'm going to be. The fact that he said that John Jones didn't knowingly, I put 100% stock in that because that man is very, very, very thorough, so he wouldn't say nothing like that. So I agree with you on the John Jones account. And then on two, the lot of people that I talk to, because I talk to all different sports, they don't take UFC seriously, and half of it's like you said, there's no clear cut, no rhyme or reason. But at the same time, if there's no Mayweather McGregor, Dana White don't make $200 million as a company. So it's kind of like you gotta. They're in a for profit business. I understand what peers say, but I can see where Dana White and them coming from too.
I'm not saying that I don't like the Mayweather McGregor happen. It was a super exciting night. As a fan of combat sports, it was nice to see it, like, combat sports on the cover of newspapers, everyone talking about it. It was super fun being a guy who's knowledgeable about the sports because all my friends wanted to know about it. I had no problem with them doing it. I just got a problem with the fact that it's now, 6 months later, and it looks like it's going to be another 6 months before the lightweight champion actually defends his belt, when I think there are good guys who are deserving of, the money, everything that comes with being a UFC champion. I feel like their careers are getting held up, and we're past the point. I don't mind Mayweather McGregor, but we're past the point where that's acceptable. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you, but I think that a lot of MMA people haven't got used to, which Conor caught on and stole from Floyd and boxing people, is there's an A side and a B side, and right now he's the ultimate A side in MMA, and he lets everybody know that. That's why you got all this craziness.
I get that. I don't have to like it though. Like, I mean, I'm like, trust me, you guys don't want to hear me go off on Colby Covington right now, but like, I want fighters who fight. I'm done with the talkers. I mean, I'm not done with it. I'm going to talk about it every time someone says something stupid or says something funny. But like, I want fighters who are earning their keep in the octagon. And I'm sick of Conor. I'm sick of having to write about every stupid tweet he sends out. And I get that he's the A side. I get that he is probably bigger than the sport and he has all this power. That doesn't mean I have to like it. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's a very, very valid argument that you have. I mean, he really, like you said, like, as big of a spectacle as that event was, it really did screw up a lot of stuff on the UFC side for the last year.
And Conor, if Conor is bigger than the sport, that's fine. But I care more about the sport than I do about Conor. So,
for sure,
I guess that's more what I'm trying to say. And frankly, I don't think that sport did that much to build the UFC's brand. There was this whole idea that it was going to get a bunch of exposure. I think a bunch of people tuned in for that night. They tuned in for GSP, and other than that, the casual fans ignored MMA the way they always do.
No, they didn't build the brand, but it quadrupled their bottom line. That's what Dana and them looking for. No, it didn't build the brand one bit, but it quadrupled the bottom line because, like, me and my wife were talking about, does it trip you out when people call UFC like it's the sports? They'll say MMA. Like, hey, we're watching UFC. They don't say we're watching MMA. Like, you don't say I'm watching the Dallas Cowboys. You say I'm watching the NFL.
Yeah, that's valid. I mean, it's just that realistically, to anyone other than us in our little bubble, nobody cares about Bellator. So, you know what? Ultimately, the health of the sport is the health of UFC.
No, I'll get that. The people don't know the UFC is the name of the brand, and MMA is the sport.
That's what he was saying, because most casual people don't understand that there's different promotions. Whenever they hear MMA, it's synonymous with UFC for like the uber casuals, like the fans that were around when Ronda was here.
Exactly.
So I get that, and it's frustrating, man. And the UFC really has a long way to go. I don't know how big thing will actually ever truly get. We had this conversation with John Anik when he was on the show, and just trying to pick his brain, like, how big can the sport and the UFC really get when there's people that will never truly be comfortable with watching people hit each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's a valid thing, right? Like, so we enjoy what we got, and we hope for. I mean, ultimately, like, I don't root for the UFC, but I hope the sport continues to grow because it's more fun to cover things where you feel like it's important, right? So that's my perspective. But I also like when I see things damaging the sport, I'm going to call them out, whether it's making Dana White money or not.
Sure. What's the first fight card that you will be covering this year?
I will be in Boston. So next Tuesday, I'm flying down for UFC 220. I've got Jim Edwards staying with me for a couple days. Our good pal Jose Youngs is going to be there. It's going to be a fun little media crew. And, for me, I couldn't miss the chance to cover, the heavyweight championship of the world. So I'm on my way down there. I'm hoping that it's not flooding and freezing.
So. It won't be flooded. It'll be freezing. It won't be flooding.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know about Matt. I'm going to 222. That's my first big one to cover because, as you know, your boy got multiple sports going on. I got NBA All-Star Weekend going in L.A., got my birthday in February, then I got to go to see y'all clowns out in Vegas, so I'm going to have an action-packed 3 weeks, man.
I'm happy for you. I mean, I definitely also have other stuff going on, but I guess I got to box you in Boston, so just know...
Any place, we stay ready. Matt,
I'm always ready.
You don't have to get ready when you stay ready.
Right?
I stay ready.
Oh, goodness. Here we go.
Well, here we go. It's done. Book it January 19th. Kendrick and I, we got to weigh in at 180. Otherwise, the fight doesn't happen. But both of us got to step on the scales 24 hours before. We're going to make it happen. But, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, I wish I could be out there to see it.
I'm in that Francis weight class.
Right? Yeah. There with the Ngannous and the Stipes. But, I wish I was out there to cover that fight. That's going to be a hell of an atmosphere for sure. Obviously, weather not being ideal, but that's neither here nor there, or once you're actually in there on fight night.
Exactly.
But I'm looking forward to it, man. That's going to be a hell of a fight card, or main event, co-main event, rather.
It's not a hell of a fight card. It's
like
not a good fight card.
Yeah, there's sprinkles like here and there of like decent fights, but everybody's super excited about.
Yeah.
We'll have that answer, man. And shout out to Jim Edwards for that documentary he did with Francis. That was tough.
Yeah, people should check that out for sure.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out on the NYTT. But Danny, thanks for coming on, man, to intro the first show of 2018. We're about to transition to our interview with Neil Magny. Like I said,
to be clear, the only reason I'm here is to check on Kendrick because I bodied him so hard. That's the only reason I'm here. I don't care about anything else.
Oh, my goodness.
I was worried about
driving my Mack truck, not worried about pebbles.
Man, I love the trash talk between you two guys. It's amazing. It's amazing. So we'll see. Best of luck to both of you throughout the rest of the fantasy basketball season. But
I don't need luck. I'm already winning.
hey, best of luck at holding on to that spot. Let me say that because I'm in the league too, so I'm trying to come for that spot too. But anyways,
he lost Kawhi Leonard. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
He didn't play all year though, so I had nothing I've been used to. So I'm used to that. That's what y'all forget. I've been used to it. I've been dealing with this every week except for 10 days the whole year. So I'm used to it.
I got Beasley, so we all know I win in the end. That's what's up. So, I also
right there.
3 of my 4 top picks have not played since the middle of November. It's been a fun season.
Really?
But I got Beasley. But okay, I'm freezing, guys. I gotta go.
Yeah, man.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
We'll talk to you soon. Look forward to your coverage out there in Boston, man. Take it easy.
You bet. Peace and love.
All right, Neil Magny coming your way, guys, right about now.
Starting the momentum that is the year 2018. One guy that had a very productive 2017. Welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast. I'm in Mr. Neil Magny. Congrats, Neil, on the win, man. We had your back, man.
Cool. Thank you so much. Not a lot of people thought I was going to win that fight, so I appreciate you guys for having my back.
Hey, tell me this. Does it feel good? Because I'm the guy that I'm all about the winning. Whatever you got to do to get your hand raised. Does it feel good the fact that you didn't take no risks? You had a game plan. You executed regardless of what people were saying, booing, whatever, to get your hand raised. It seemed very simple, but why don't many people do that? You did what you had to do, and you got the job done, and you're still healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I think going to that fight showed a lot of growth. I mean, had I fought Carlos Condit 9 months ago, I went in there, got a little bit eager, and try to put a lot more in line, and probably got myself caught by doing so. Having some time off to really grow and really trust my coaches allowed me to go in there and really trust in the game plan they put together, and I executed it perfectly.
Did he post anything that you didn't see, or was it kind of like as all y'all how y'all scripted in training? Is that how y'all how the fight went, or did he throw you some wrinkles that you had to adjust to? Because it seemed like you were never in any harm's danger just watching it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that definitely have to adjust in the fight and deal with, but overall, for the most part, it was kind of predictable. I've watched Carlos kind of compete for years. I looked up to that guy since I started MMA, so I pretty much know him like a book. I mean, I've seen everything he's done in his past fights. I've watched the guy, studied the guy. I tried to emulate the guy in training. So there's a lot of things they did in the fight that I kind of was aware he was going to try.
It seemed like the takedowns were the difference maker in the fight. I mean, striking totals were pretty similar. I think he actually landed more significant strikes going by what the fight metric says. But takedowns, it seems like that was the area where you really took control of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, going into this fight, we knew it was going to be pretty close. I mean, normally I have a huge reach advantage going into a fight. This fight, that wasn't the case. Normally I can rely on my cardio to kind of save my butt in later rounds. That wasn't the case going into this fight either. So I knew this fight was going to be super close. So once we got into that first grappling exchange, I knew that was be the one area of the fight where I could start pulling away and start winning the fight. Throughout the entire fight, I think we were going strike for strike, punch for punch. So it was super close. I knew I had to do something and switch it up, and I found wrestling to be that key for me.
Was there anything that your corner was telling you, throughout the fight that, maybe kind of had you help you make some adjustments throughout the fight, or was it kind of like a keep on doing what you're doing type thing because what you're doing is working?
The biggest thing was just trying to keep me composed. I mean, a lot of times you get out there in the fight and you start getting a little bit ahead of yourself and trying to do all types of things. And they just have to really keep me composed, keep me in control of the fight, and just kind of make sure my head was where it needed to be during the fight. And that's kind of what they remind me during the breaks in between rounds.
And how's it feel the fact that people will cut, like you said, rarely people picked you outside of Camp Magny and the Slip and Dip podcast. How does it feel like I see crazy stories like people look at you as a gatekeeper and stuff. As a fighter, does that give you extra motivation? Not that you're not motivated, but to me that's crazy talk.
Yeah, I mean, after the fact, it definitely gave me some extra motivation. I mean, going into the fight, I didn't let all the talk bother me too much. But after the fight, seeing some of the videos go around, I used it as motivation. I mean, I literally got back from Vegas on Monday. By Tuesday, I was already back in the gym, just eager to prove people wrong in 2018. So I'm excited about it. I mean, it took that fight, and it took a lot of things happening before the fight and after the fight to bring the best out of me. So I'm excited to see what happens going forward.
Two-part question. Was that the best fight of your career? And are you poised to make a title run in 2018?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that fight showed a lot of growth for me. I mean, being able to go in there and stick to a game plan like I did, and just kind of really focus on what the coaches had me to fight a fight that the coaches put together for me and go out there and execute. I feel like that showed the most growth. And if I'm able to put that into any fight that I go into in the future, I know I'll be successful. I mean, I know when it comes down to it, if I'm getting hit, I'm gonna hit back. I know if I'm in a bad position, I'm gonna fight back. I know I can pull through the tough times in a fight. So that stuff I was already aware of. But being able to pull through and execute a game plan like that made me really excited for the future.
But it seemed like you were having a little bit of fun during media day with some of the reporters. I saw an article come out saying that you were, the brutal honesty of Neil Magny or whatever, talking about how somebody asked you, where you had some advantages, and you were like, I have no advantages anywhere. Were you messing with them? Were you just trying to have some fun? What was the deal with that one?
No, I mean that was partially absolutely true. I mean, going into that fight, I didn't have anything to rely on to make me feel comfortable in that fight. I didn't have a striking advantage, I didn't have a cardio advantage, I didn't have a jiu-jitsu advantage. I knew that going into that fight it would be super close. I mean, like I said earlier, Carlos Collins is a guy who I watched fight and compete for years, so I knew what he was capable of. I knew what skills he had and things like that. So going to that fight, I knew it was gonna be super tough. I knew it was gonna be me having to fight for every single thing that I wanted in that fight, and that's exactly how it played out.
Yeah, it seemed like you broke a lot of hearts because Carlos he's a popular dude, and you see the reaction on Twitter. Even though you clearly won the fight on the scorecards, everyone that's actually scoring the fight seriously, all scoring it in your favor. But then you had the Carlos Condit fanboys who it's kind of sad to see even amongst media members they're still like, oh, Carlos Condit won that, like, jokingly, obviously, but they're still saying it. It's like, come on, man, like give Neil his respect. He just went out there and did some work, man. So, that's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I get to deposit that second check in the bank on Tuesday. I get a win column, so it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, they can say whatever they want after the fight. I went out there, executed, got my hand raised, so I got the job done. So whatever happened after the fact, whether people agree with me or didn't agree with me, that's up to them. It didn't change my perspective of the fight at all.
How much does this add to your confidence? Not that you were lacking to it, but is this giving you more pep to your step?
No, definitely. I mean, this fight definitely showed some things that one need to work on. Two, some things that I've been working on that actually showed out in the fight. I mean, like to go and toe to toe with Carlos Condit and be pretty even on the strikes like we were. I think that's something that can be proud of and really hold true as I move forward in this game.
And who do you want next? I know you didn't call out no names, but if your boy Sean Shelby call you tomorrow, who do you want other than a shot with Tyron?
Oh man, it honestly was just a toss up between. He threw out some names out there from One Boy to Santiago to.
Oh, you talked to him already.
Yeah, he threw some names out there for whoever's next, but honestly, it doesn't bother me. Like any one of those guys that would step up, I'm eager to get back out there and prove myself. So it won't bother me at all.
So he said Wonder Boy. Who else did he say?
Santiago. I have a hard time pronouncing his name. That one.
He knew me the same way, Dale. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to disrespect the guy by calling him the wrong name, so I'll just stick with his first name.
So that's cool. Like, how long? Like, did he hit you up like the same week or like right after the fight? I know he does that sometimes, not obviously all that often. But when did he hit you up and give you those names?
We literally just bumped into each other after the fight, and we just kind of talking like, man, dude, there's some like, let me know when you're ready to get back in there, if you're healthy, that kind of thing. And just we talked about some possibilities, and I was like, all right, cool, let's definitely sit down and talk, or not actually sit down and talk about it. Let's get on the phone and talk about it this coming week, and we can make some things happen.
Then what do you think? As you know, we have insiders and people that are in the game too, and somebody told me that likes your style, that's a fan of yours, said that the way you fight, people think it's easier than what it is, so they'll call you out versus some headhunters they got like a Bilal Muhammad or Kamaru Usman, even though you're more established than them, because people think you're quote unquote the easier win. Does that give you extra motivation? Because it's like one of those things. The thing that can look easier than what it is. Well, I guess we need to ask Carlos about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, those are things that don't bother me at all. I mean, if these guys want to think it's an easy route by fighting me, then absolutely. I mean, step in the cage, think it'll be an easy night, and then get ready to get your heart broken. I mean, if you walk to the fight with me, think it'll be an easy night, I can guarantee you it won't be, and I guarantee you'll be disappointed in it. So I'll always be the one to keep breaking hearts, I guess.
So, I mean, I know you're a guy that you want to stay active and all that good stuff, and you already had the conversation about some potential names. I mean, when's a date that you're looking at that you want to get back in there? Do you have that in mind?
As early as March. I mean, I know there's a lot of cards that are already being finalized for February, so I want to get back in there as early as March. I mean, I'm healthy, I'm in shape. I don't want to have a long layoff like I did last year. I just want to jump back in there and stay active, keep moving forward.
How'd you celebrate New Year's, man? You got the win right before, but what'd you do to celebrate?
Yeah, we just down in Vegas with my fiance and a couple of friends. Just kind of enjoyed it. Did a whole little party scene in Vegas for a bit. Just like let some steam off and just have some fun with some friends and family.
What about that party last night that she had?
What was that? It was like a homecoming home party. One of the guys that trains the gym, he has a pretty decent bar down in Lone Tree, Colorado, called Robusta Room, and he was super excited just to be able to like get a group of guys together from the gym, from everywhere else. Just like, hey man, congratulations, we're all proud of you. Keep it going. So last night we just went out, had a little celebration with some teammates.
Nice. You've been keeping up with the NFL playoffs so far? No, last time you brought up the Giants logo on us, so.
My playoff dreams ended weeks ago, so I haven't been keeping up too much.
Yeah. We were watching the end of the game here before we recorded tonight, but yeah, man, it's kind of tough, watching both of our teams on the sidelines. Obviously, we're Cowboys fans over here, The NFC is not representing this year.
Yeah, I'm already switching over to baseball season. It's like,
no.
I know I had the Giants house last time. I'm gonna zoom in and see the Yankees hat now. I'm already switching to baseball season.
I'm neutral on Yankees. That doesn't bother me. Hey, I got a hell of a squad coming back. As you got Giancarlo Stanton. You can't mess that up.
For sure. Definitely excited for it.
Man, Yankees got cheat codes going right now, man. Inside dude. If Stan doesn't hit 50 homers this year, it's going to be something wrong.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you play video games and stuff like that? Like, what does Neil Magny do when he's not training to whoop the 170-pounders of the world?
That's him for the most part. I mean, I'm either out like trying to build something or mess around with ATVs and dirt bikes or just chilling with the teammates and friends. I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes down to it.
Got you. How's the fans receive you? Because I know when we hung out a little bit in MSG, I couldn't even have a conversation with you because you had people coming up to you. Are you used to getting that type of reception?
No, I mean it's definitely been growing. I mean, I can remember my first couple of years being in the UFC. For the last 5 years being with the UFC now, every summer I've been going to the Ultimate Fight Week, and I can remember my first year going there. I had a couple guys like maybe think like, oh, I think that's the guy from the Ultimate Fighter, but no one really came out. Second year going there, I can remember specifically there were guys like, no, that's not John Jones. They just kind of walked by. I remember the third year. I can really remember this moment. I was standing in the lobby at the MGM, and this guy comes out to me and he's like, "Hey, can you take a picture with me in a second?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And then I'm thinking he's gonna take a picture actually with me, but no, he has me in his camera and tells me Matt Mitrione is coming around the corner, and he wants me to snap the picture.
Oh man!
So I was kind of sitting there like, oh yeah, sure, I'll take the picture for you. And then as I'm taking the picture, someone else comes out to me and is like, "Oh, you're Neil Magny, aren't you? Congrats on your last fight." And the guy turns back around like, "Oh, I thought you looked familiar." And then he asked me for a picture after that. But now it's amazing, man. To be able to go to places like Madison Square Garden and be greeted by fans the way I am, I truly love it. I'm truly grateful for it. It's been an amazing journey so far.
Hey, next time, if you're in a fight that we're covering, you gotta let us do a little follow so we can get some little behind the scenes Slipping Dip podcast on what goes on. Because a lot of people don't know what y'all see and what we see on the actual fight to get that fight night experience. Because I tell people, you gotta see a fight at MSG or Las Vegas if you a real MMA fan.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things that go on behind the scenes that I think a lot of fans would really appreciate seeing. I mean, like the nagging injuries that you get throughout training camp, the ups, the downs. I mean, there's been literally training camps where coach had to pull me out the washer in the back room because I was sitting back there in tears. Like, "Coach, I'm fighting number so and so in the world next week, and I'm getting my butt kicked by everyone in the gym. What do I do?" And I'm literally in tears, sit on the washing machine, having to get a pep talk to get back out there and train. So I think some fans would definitely appreciate to see what we go through behind the scenes sometimes.
I think that's one thing that I think is kind of like a misconception for like casual fans, you know, when it comes to like top fighters in the UFC. It seems like, you know, to some people I've talked to, it seems like they have this belief that, oh, Neil Magny's just destroying everybody in the gym, or, you know, like the Tyron Woodley is destroying everybody in the gym, when in reality, like the training methods, you know, like the shark tanks and all that kind of stuff, you guys are getting your ass kicked in practice, you know. It's not just like you're going in there and just mopping the floor up with everybody. I mean, you could if you centered your camp that way, but that's not really beneficial to you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's definitely one of the things.
The teams that I train with, I mean, they bring out the best of me every single day. I mean, there's times I go into wrestling practice and I can't get a single takedown off, and I'm just getting thrown up and down the mat. I mean, there's other days where I'm just getting pinned up against the cage, just getting drilled with punches the entire time. I mean, these guys definitely push me every single day to be the best I can be in this sport, and I sure appreciate them for it.
It's definitely important to have a solid team that can push you, man, because, you know, it's kind of like that small gym versus like the big gym thing. That's always been an argument. Like, would you rather be a part of a big gym or have like just that one-on-one time all the time? You know, I think having a good solid sized team around you is important.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, this past year, when my team was associated with Muscle Farm, we got to see that firsthand. I mean, while we were training Muscle Farm, we had a lot of people come in and just kind of like, they were attracted by the big lights. They were attracted by the fact that like, oh yeah, I'm training out this mega camp, this huge camp in Colorado now, and they were just attracted by everything that Muscle Farm had to offer. They liked the facility, they liked the area, they liked everything about it. And then once the deal with Muscle Farm ended, Muscle Farm moved to California. Elevation Fight Team separated, went to Easton Training Center. Like our numbers shrunk down a lot, but like the core guys that stuck through and that believed what the coaches had to offer, believe that the other athletes on the mat had a lot to offer them. I feel like that's a strong core group of guys. We could go against anybody in the world and win. And me going out there winning against a guy from Jackson just proved that. I mean, whether it's ATT, Jackson's, or TriStar, I feel like my team can truly go out there and beat anyone in the world.
Now, what do y'all do to make adjustments? 'Cause I know it's between the first and second rounds when you start going to the wrestling. How come more fighters don't make adjustments in the fight? It's like, oh shit, we don't got a plan B, but we got a plan A. Plan A ain't working, so it's like, oh shit, we're screwed. But you like, okay, let's go on and do this.
I mean, sometimes this comes down to how some guys train. Some guys think themselves as like predominantly jiu-jitsu guys, so a lot of their training is just centered around being a jiu-jitsu guy, or they think they're a striker, so they're doing striking 5 days a week, and then on Saturday they'll think like, oh, I haven't wrestled all week, I should probably do a wrestling practice today. I think that this goes out to my coaches. I mean, I have a good jiu-jitsu coach, a good wrestling coach, a good striking coach, and all these guys bring out the best of me. I mean, if I'm getting my butt kicked on the feet, I'm able to make adjustments and switch to a takedown. If I'm on the ground, I'm able to stay composed and work back to my feet, get a sweep, get a reversal, get something, and take the fight over. I mean, I guess I credit that to my coaches, push me in every aspect, not letting me get comfortable in just one area. We're like, all right, you're a long guy, you can just worry about striking, and if someone takes to the ground, just kind of hold on for dear life and wait for the next round. I mean, these guys really make me go where I'm uncomfortable, and there's no place I'm not comfortable in the fight.
Neil, are you a New Year's resolution guy?
No, not really. I mean, I try to like constantly just keep setting goals for myself and just try to knock them out the park every chance that I get. Whether it's middle of the year, beginning of the year, wherever it may be, I just try to assess myself and see where I need to grow and try to make changes.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think New Year's resolutions are a little bit overrated, but I mean, if you have like a next 6 months goal, what would you say it is?
The biggest thing is be as active as possible. I mean, go out there and just keep climbing the ranks. I mean, 6 months, that's at least 3 fights for me. So, so go out there and be as active as possible and just get back to the top.
So since you feeling good, give some insight. Like one thing I was thinking is like when they wish y'all away, want to lose. Like how's those medicals go? They all of a sudden they start poking you, taking your blood, and all that craziness. Cause like y'all be whisked away in this magic land that we don't even see. And then sometimes I see fighter win and come out more like they've been in the fight going through the damn test and they were in the actual fight.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that helps a lot too. I mean, in Colorado we have a network of sports doctors actually work with us every single day. I mean, train with Landau Performance, we're associated with the resilience code, and literally have trainers on staff while we're there training. So if I have like a nagging injury that's bugged me, I don't have to wait till I get seen by a doctor, then follow over a specialist, then follow over someone else to get it treated. We just get taken care of right away. I mean, as soon as I got back in training on Tuesday, these guys already sat me down. I was like, how do you feel? Anything hurt? Anything need worked on? Let me take a look at you, see how your body's holding up. And they just stay on top of the injuries and just keep us as healthy as possible.
Very cool. What about like on fight night? I think that's what kind of Kendrick was kind of getting at more so like on the actual fights, like in between you actually leaving the cage and then getting towards the post fight media scrum. No, that was all good stuff too. But I think he was trying to get at more like on the actual fight night, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, after I win and stuff, because like we don't see none of that stuff. And then sometimes it'll take 20 minutes, sometimes it'll take 2 hours. It seems like.
Yeah, it all depends on the guy. I mean, sometimes some guys are pretty busted up and they have to get to the ER right away. Other times, just a guy with a scratch on his face, they wipe the blood off and they send him off to the interview. So it literally matters what happens in the fight. I mean, if you're busted up pretty bad and need stitches, they'll probably stitch you up before you go out and do all the interviews. But the medical staff for the UFC, they work pretty hard. I mean, once they get you back behind that tent, you have like one guy taking your gloves off, one guy checking your face, one guy checking your knee and your hands. Like it's like a team of them is working. It's almost like NASCAR. It's like 4 guys working on you at once.
Have you ever been to the hospital after a fight?
I've been pretty fortunate not to have to go to the hospital to fight yet. Every fight that I had hasn't been too severe where I need to go to the hospital, so I'm pretty fortunate for that.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. I mean, because there's some guys, obviously, they go in there and they don't go in there with a game plan. They like to have that, I guess, that crowd pleasing. I'll put it like the crowd pleasing fighting style, where it's just like going there and bang it out. And it's you're gonna earn yourself a trip to the hospital more times than not that way.
I mean, that's one of the things that I'm learning too. Getting the older I get, and the more I've been in this sport. I mean, everyone's used that phrase crowd pleasing, but yet one of the guys that's most successful in the history of UFC is George St. Pierre. Yeah. And for a while, he's been known for his game plan. He's been known for go out there and just get the wins. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody likes a loser. I mean, if I go out there just worry about how I'm going to be perceived by fans or peers, wherever it may be, and I lose every single fight. One, I may not have a job very long. Two, I may not even have any fans to support me when I'm losing. So I don't really like that term too much. Just like the whole crowd pleasing thing. I think going out there winning and fighting hard is what pleases the crowd the most. And just going for it. It's kind of laying and coasting, but actually going for the win, going for the finish when it presents itself.
And I think to add on to that, also just being a genuine person too when you get on the mic. You know what I mean? Like not trying to play up this character that you're really not.
Yeah, absolutely. That goes a long way for sure.
And also, Jay, I'm glad you said that. That's a perfect segue. With your friend of the show, we want to have you on before and after, win or lose. We in Camp Magny, but one of the reasons, like as Matt know, our thing for 2018 is you ball, you get the call. You ball, so you get that call. Much props to you. And also, when you be talking to your friends, other fighters in the UFC, Bellator, please ask this one question on my behalf. Ask them what is cool about getting hits. Like what you just said, I don't get it. It's like what you just said is 100% the facts, but people think getting hit is cool. Why is that?
Man, I honestly, I think the coolest part of being a guy that puts the hits on the other guy. I mean, if I can go out there and like outstrike my guy significantly in a fight, like that's my goal. I mean, I don't really care if it's standing there getting trading blow for blow, but if I can go out there and just like punch my guy 5-1 punches or whatever, I feel like that's a great night for me. I mean, the whole idea of like, yeah, I ate 120 punches, I'm like, great, good job. You see how far that takes me. That's something that doesn't impress me too much. I'm all about going out there, getting the job done, and making it dominant. So that's what I try to do in my fights.
Right? You're like, yeah, how's your face feel in the morning? Let me know. After eating all those punches. But yeah, man. Good stuff, Neil, man. Congratulations on the win. I want to thank you for coming on the show again. Before and after. Yeah, you know. We want to thank you.
Hey, we definitely want to make this a thing. Hey, so if you fight three times, you got to come to Slip and Dip 6 times. Before that.
For sure, man. Yeah, we definitely want to hear whenever you get that news about your next opponent and where it's going to be and who it's going to be against. Hopefully it's a card that we'll be traveling to and covering in person, like Kendrick mentioned earlier.
Definitely. Hopefully sooner or later, too. I'll give you guys some news.
Feel free, even just for 10 minutes, we'll have you on so you can break it right on here. Get on the floor. Like I said, you bought me the call.
Cool, I'm down with that.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having it. Happy New Year. All that good stuff, man. Looking forward to seeing what Neil Magny does in 2018, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Watching 2018, 170-pound division, be on notice.
All right, Neil, take it easy, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, go
ahead. Man, good to have Neil on here. That was not a joke, people. Ball, you will get the call.
That's Kendrick's motto for 2018 for the Slip and Dip podcast. Is apparently you ball, you get the call, and as Neil did against an opponent, like he said, man, a guy that not many people were high on him on. Guy that Carlos Condit is a fan favorite. A guy who's been in a lot of wars.
You know, I picked him. You picked him.
I stayed neutral, man. I stayed neutral. I didn't make a pick. I mean, I like Neil. I've picked Neil in, I would say, 90% of his fights. But this one, I just stay neutral, man. There's a lot of variables, but you know, obviously coming on the show, you know, I got to support the guy that supports the show. So, you know, of course, I'm sitting there pulling. I hope Neil wins. I hope Neil wins, of course. But you know, as we've been interviewing guys that come on the show and whatnot, it's like I've kind of shied away from making, you know, official picks. So, you know, I don't want to show favoritism. I'm trying to keep that media unbiased line.
I'm biased. I state the facts. Ain't nothing about being biased. The facts is he was a better all-around fighter. He fought the fight that he fought. Excuse me. Yeah. That was gonna happen. If he gets into some crazy Mexican style phone booth, you hit me, I hit you. Anything can happen. He fought the fight he had to fight. got the job done. So all y'all people booing him, that's what happens. You win, you ball, you get the call, and not only that, you get more fights. You got Sean Shelby and them hitting you up right after the fight, telling you when you want to get in. Why? Because you fought a smart fight and you didn't get hurt
instantly. Like I said, I know Sean Shelby will talk to fighters right after the fact. Sometimes depending on how the fight goes, and that's what happened with Neil. You go out there, put on a great performance, don't get hurt. Sean Shelby's gonna come around and start asking you some things. Seeing when he can get you back in there. Because their job is tough as it is, and if you make it easier on them, they're going to be happy.
Man, I'm so pumped, man. This whole year's already started off good, man. First Slip and Dip podcast in the books. Had on Kevin Lee, had on Magny. Man, I feel like we're going to take off.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to a great year with the show. How many events did you cover in the UFC last year?
I covered 8 total. I covered 5 boxing and mixed it with a lot of college football and NBA games. I was all over the map.
Yeah, a lot of travel.
Take this little platform. The more versatile you are, the more checks you get. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I covered 6 events last year. I'm gonna try to top that number this year. I'm gonna try.
We got both hosts of the Slip and Dip motivated. The MMA world's in trouble.
Yeah. The first one will be UFC Austin, which is a card that's pretty much filled up now. So I'm excited about that one.
When
I say I'm excited to go. I'm not saying it's the best card in the world or anything like that. I'm always excited just to be there and be in the atmosphere.
I'm only 222. I'm gonna go on just direct. I know we're not even talking about this the next week's show. Francis Ngannou taking an L. I'm staying with Steve.
Oh man! Oh wow!
Cause like we just got done talking, he's not stupid enough to play the you hit me, I hit you, cause he might get hit and it won't be no hitting back because he's asleep. He's smart enough man that's been had the belt for a year and a half not to play that game. And plus, I want to see win or lose. I want to see Mr. Ngannou go 4 rounds and see what's up. I want to see him on his back. We see him on the ground. He got a good ground game because submitted old boy. Yeah. But we can't see him on his back. Let's see that. I want to see some stuff in that fight.
Yeah, I hope there's some different.
I hope it goes at least 20 minutes.
I hope so. I hope it's not a quick first rounder. I mean, it very well could be. I mean, hell.
And heavyweights, everybody get. But see, another thing too, people act like Francis can't get knocked out. That's another thing that people are sleeping on. Just because he got more power.
That's the thing. We haven't seen him tested, and this is definitely the guy to test it.
I agree with you, but people, it's like they need the latest example of, this person's unbeatable. Oh, there they wasn't. Like, for instance, JJ, I'm one of the people that thought she was pretty unstoppable 115, but we see her in some wars and come out smiling. She's been tested for I make that decision.
Yeah, she's been tested.
This woman been tested. Like, hey, let's hand him over the belt.
Right.
Really? Like, I don't know. It's like people forget the pattern that is UFC.
Yeah, I mean, more often than not, when guys are climbing the ranks, they're going to have a fight in there where it's like, okay, he's ready for that championship fight. Like one that was a little bit tougher than the previous ones. If they're torching through competition, there's going to be a fight that maybe goes to a decision or maybe goes late into the 3rd round before they get it finished. Francis hadn't had that fight. Oh. He's just been torching dudes. And I'm talking like literally knocking heads into the 5th row.
I watched the fight too. You absolutely right. But what I heard are people that's connected with the UFC, that the brass that schedules the fights, I'll throw in names, basically said, "Oh, if I want to, I can schedule a loss for you."
Yeah,
I've heard that from multiple people, so they legitimately feel that way. So I guess they think that they trying to schedule a loss with Stipe. Like that man said, he had the most purest reactions of a champion person. Him or Rose. Mm-hmm. He got the best. I'm champ of the world. I'm world champ. All these people in Brazil want to kill this man. He on top of the cage. I'm champ of the world. That was like peer reaction. And the fact that he still did the fireman thing, he still acts the same before he got the belt. Then now, I can respect that. He always show us love. Try to get his people to let him come on here after he wins.
But Stipe's good people, man.
Not that Francis is not. We said with Lakesbury.
Yeah, no. So speaking of Francis, man, our boy Jim went out to Francis.
Strawweight champion.
Weekend. He went out to France this past weekend and did an exclusive documentary type deal. If you haven't seen it, it's on MMA NYTT over there. Jim Edwards, amazing documentary. It's pretty cool, man. That's the kind of stuff I like to see, where you get that quiet gym time, where you go in there. You know, kind of like what we plan on doing. Go in there, travel to the gyms, get that one-on-one time with them. No PR team around. I mean, shout out to the UFC PR team. You guys are great. Love what you guys do. You're all
Dave,
but I'm saying,
take care of your boy.
It's a different atmosphere when they're not trying to keep a schedule. When there's not 40 other people around as well. You get to do what you want. You get to do what the fighter and the trainer wants. You know.
And plug for the show. Yours truly will be at the WBA welterweight champion of the world, Mr. Earl Spitz Jill, 1-on-1 for a couple hours. Just me, his trainer Derek James, friend of the show, on 1-on-1. So we will have some sound from Mr. Spitz for his big fight against Lamont Peterson, January 20th at Barclays. Makes his first title defense.
And that's super early. Super early interview. A year in advance. No, that's good, man. I'm looking forward to that for sure. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome.
Man, we already rolling in 2018. Please keep supporting the show. Follow us on YouTube, Spreaker, which is actually my favorite. Hey, somebody hit me up and said we need to be on Spotify. They said, man, y'all on Spotify, get y'all some followers. I said, never talk to my co-host before I co-sign on that deal because we can join effort.
Let me see.
We can't folks that keep it real right here. We 50-50.
Look into this whole deal. See what the internet.
But please help us keep growing the show.
The internet's talking about.
Say your likes, complaints, ideas. We're open to anything.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Dan Tom as well. I was on his podcast last night. His Protect the Neck podcast. Did a little year review. With,
man, call your boy, Dan. I ain't got a call. I'm balling too. I ain't got a call.
Right. Yeah, man. Good stuff, man. I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. Obviously, we're going to keep this show rolling. We're going to keep it growing. All the handles for y'all watching on YouTube, they're on the screen there. But if you're not watching on YouTube, Kendrick, follow him on Twitter at Kendrick Johnso. Follow me at Mr. M. Wells Arts. And follow the show at Slip and Dip Podcast. And like he said, we want your feedback. Let us know how you want us to grow the show. 2018. Here we go.
Coming at you.
Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap up this episode. We'll see you guys next week with some more highly touted guests. Till then, y'all take it easy. Be easy.